Hi everybody, it's your host Lasha Royenko. Welcome to my channel, Royal Pushback Aftermath. So I have two things going at once. I guess I'm not sorry because I keep bringing it up. And I swear to God, not you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do. Why would you need God's help if you're taking an oath and telling the truth? So I swear to God, I will not mention this again. The channel that I'm doing live right now is Lasha Rajenko, or at Lasha Rajenko 6907. This upload is going on to Royal Pushback Aftermath under videos. What is causing the distress for me in reference to this? It's not about any of you. Is I started this original channel on March the 23rd of 2023. And I remember one of the best podcasts that I did was September the 23rd of 2023. And it was a Russell Brand piece and how they demonetized him with no charges except for a news article. But this channel was at 54 people a week ago, Lasha Rajenko. And now it's at 61. And you know what? I do not know how to slice, or edit anything. That's why everything I do is impromptu and takes a little longer. So that's why I say, if you all know this about me, always fast forward to 5 minutes and then I'll get into the meat and potatoes. So this is my introduction part. Then I started L&L Soul Sisters on my phone, and it grew to 267 souls. Now, when you think about that, from my perspective, that's, 247 people that took time out of their lives to subscribe, watch, comment, like. If the spirit moves people, share with a friend. However, I was not thinking, and I upgraded my phone because it does have other features, but see, this has caused me stress because there'll be another phone out in a month. No, this is not on. And the sound in here is a really pingy. So it's kind of like a homemade YouTube studio, as it were. So I've been up since 3:30, and I woke up I went to bed last night approximately 9 after I posted that We Are Family short with Ed and my mom. And then I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, and it's about 10 now, and I have to get up at 6 because I have a bundle of things to do like everybody else. And the truth is, I haven't had a bundle of things to do since the injury. Change.org, if you haven't been there, please check it out. It's under Lasha Rajenko. Don't donate money. because I don't have an actual charity. I'm going to do a whole video about that when more people participate, because altogether between the 3 channels, and I honestly can't even believe it, there's 546 or 560 souls. I can't even believe that. And according to Google's goal, they want people to be at 1,000 souls in order to monetize. So this lady, June, sent me a message once. I don't forget anything. And she said, "You started this channel to make money, right?" Yeah, of course. Um, it took me 3 months to learn how to do it on Lasha Rajenko. I wish I knew your names because, as everybody knows, just one sec, folks. As everybody knows, we had some new additions to the rat family. Oh, it's not the rat family. That sounds so corny. The rat community. And it was Adam C. and a Nikki. It sounded like a Nikki Nine Door, but that's not how it's pronounced. And Dice, could you change your name? I can't write it on the board. And Toxie, how you doing? Thanks for the comments. And Sarah, thank you so much for your encouragement. And of course, this was the original board. I'm going to go back to Rexall tomorrow and get a new rhythm and blues window that lights up with the pink and the blue, because it does a lot better on this. So everybody who joins, comments, subscribes, I keep track of everybody. Can I just lay you down to rest for a minute? No, I'll keep you right here. There we go. Okay, so I just wanted to show, because I'm trying to get everybody on the same channel. So if you're subscribed to Lasha Rajenko, I mean, you know what? Stay where you are, and if the spirit moves you, change your subscription, because I'm still going to be posting lives here. Sometimes I can get onto Royal Pushback Aftermath. I'm slowly downloading all the videos from L&L Soul Sisters from the summer, because it was a lot of fun. And this is what I'm talking about. So the 61 people and the 267 on L&L Soul Sisters and Lasha Rajenko, I don't know your names, but I do read free tarot cards to get to know people. It's funny, my mom and I were laughing about this because I can't even give away the tarot card reads anymore. And I'm really good at it. I just need a little more time. Hang on a minute. A little more time. But I don't know. It's just a free thank you to all of you for subscribing. That's my thank you. Okay. It is getting late. My voice is getting a little rough, but we were going to start with the Palace Papers. However, there's so much about royalty right now. Let's do the exorcism of Annalese Micheals. She's right over here. She's right there on my bookshelf, okay? And I will read some Palace Papers for sure. And at the very end, I actually bought this today because I like the tactical feeling of holding a magazine and reading it. And It's just tactical to me. So, anyways, and I did write this welcome sign to the new subscribers. However, I need to learn how to write backwards. There, welcome, Adam, Roxy Toxy. It sounds like Nicky Nine Door, Suadice, cyberspace friend. Oh, Toxy Roxy is really obtuse. And I mean that as a compliment. Bless you, cyberspace friend. Bless you, cyberspace friend. That's what it says. Okay, and a special thank you to Sarah from Australia for what you wrote in reference to, yeah. So I have no idea what's going on with Scott Peterson. So let's just find out what's going on with Annalese. And then we'll read some pals' papers and gossip about royals, because really that's what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. We're not reassessing and psychoanalyzing. I'm also coming up with a schedule and a theme every day of the week. Sunday, Monday, happy days, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to turn that light off, get my glasses, get a little ambiance going in here. Can you folks see anything pretty and shiny here? Or anything entertaining? Oh, that's not entertaining. You know what? I should put this right here. Wait. I'm gonna knock things over. I can feel it. Oh, okay. Good. Good. There. Let's see. There we go. There. How's that? Is that a little better? Sort of holding this phone here. So, hi Royal Pushback Aftermath. Hi Lasha Rajenkos. I don't know what to say. It's going to be crooked, and then people will say, how can we take you seriously? You know what's interesting to me? Before we get on to Annalese Palace Papers and this, and I'm really going to do it all. I told you, always go 15 minutes in and then I'll start. But I was thinking of my hands, right? And you can always tell an age of a woman by her hands. And my mother is up north with her partner, Ed, who you all met on the short We Are Family. We had fun, and they took Sophie up to the cottage for 2 weeks with my mom, and so they're going to have great family time, and I'm going to be focusing focusing on work. And I'm also, I live in Beamsville, Ontario, so I'm going to start posting where I live, because I'm hiring cleaners. Um, I'm going to put some more information about that, and I'll explain a little more after. I'm getting really tired, but I'm actually quite pumped to read what's going on with Annalese because it's getting interesting. It's always interesting, but even more so. These are my leg warmers, and I should have worn these when I was dancing. When people ask me, how can you kick your leg around if you were in a wheelchair and all of this, the reason I do it is because nobody knows except me and Sophie how hard I worked to get into shape, because this happened when I was 46, right? So the reason I can lift my leg there is because you don't have to really, you don't bend the knee, and you damage the femur, but the doctors were able to fix that, but they couldn't fix the knee. So if you'll notice, even with this hip, I don't use this leg a lot because I have hip problems, but if I squeeze tight, so there's ways as a dancer you can switch your body around, but that has nothing to do with what we're doing right now. Yeah, and if you want your free Russian Gypsy cards, just please email me at Lisa, ROJENKO _ 1971 at iCloud.com. Okay? So the last time we were together and the last time we read, I was in bed because my back was really bad that day. So I figured out a way, and I'm saving for a new comfy chair and some throw rugs to get well, I want the sound to be more ominous. If you ever watched The Royal Grift, her new, I was going to say seduction, her new introduction, it blows up like fairy dust. And you can tell that she's using a mic, and her voice, thank you for coming to All Things Royal. But it sounded really good. Thank you for coming to your weekly dose of All Things Royal. But her voice cadence sounded beautiful. At any rate, I marked down the page, The Dam Breaks, chapter 4. We were talking about Peter, and then we talked about the indecisive. Okay, so this is where we left off. Now, if you want to catch up on Analyze, Lasha, just read, and this will be downloaded on the playlist, and this will be on videos. Dr. Leonard was sympathetic, easier to talk to than Dr. Luthi. Trained in Freudian tradition, he asked a lot of questions about her relationship to her parents. In his perception, she was a textbook case of a young girl suffering from a neurosis that had developed for some time, clearly caused by a father who had never understood her and a mother whom she hated with a fury. Since she would not let her have boyfriends and would even forbid her to go dancing. Footloose, remember that? Could you imagine? Footloose was made in the 90s, and there were towns in the States where dancing wasn't allowed. And then think of Annalese Micheals. The war was finished in 45, 46, I don't know how many years it took them to clean it up, but that bad energy lingers around. And you never know if something evil attached herself. But I've never heard that she hated her mother. Um, and her mother not letting her go dancing, that's just bizarre. You know, every time I read this book, I am very intuitive. I get exhausted. I can feel the way she feels. Not the way she feels, but when I read things about she's exhausted, or maybe I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I don't need these glasses. I need a new prescription. Okay. Okay. Clearly caused by a father who had never understood her and a mother whom she hated with a fury, since she would not let her have boyfriends and would even forbid her to go dancing. As to those seizures she had, since she was 16, not many. As to these seizures she had experienced, suspiciously like epilepsy, better have that checked tomorrow in the University Neurological Clinic and Polyclinic. The next day, November the 28th, Annalese went to the neurological clinic on Frauenstraße for an EEG. It was taken while she was asleep, and evaluating it, Dr. Irmgard Schlepp, the academic director of the clinic, reported that she had found epileptic patterns, a discharge of locus in the left temporal region of the brain. In her letter, in the same with the state attorney, dated July 7th, 1976, she also stated, okay, and this is this is quote. On the basis of the patient's history, the description of the seizures, the EEG finding, we had to assume diagnostically that we were dealing with a disease of seizures, that is epilepsy. Dr. Schlupp took Annalese off Dilantin, since that drug had apparently not completely suppressed the epilepsy-like activity in the brain, and switched her over to Tegretol. Now remember, that's the one that she works. Now, Tegretol in the United States, a much stronger and, in its side effects, much more dangerous drug. In her interview with Dr. Schlepp, Annalese told of how she suffered from her separation from her family. The family, which in Dr. Leonard's view, had caused her psychological distress that she reacted with a depressive psychosis. That's putting an awful lot of blame on the family. My goodness. She also mentioned the fact that she had problems with her boyfriend, whom she could not love sufficiently. What she's saying is she has trouble with intimacy. I'm going to keep going on live. This one I have to upload. If you want to see the rest, go to playlists under the readings of Annalese Micheal, or you can go right to Lasha Rajenko under lives, because they're all lives, and watch it there. Because this 25-minute video is going to take an hour to upload. Okay, thank you for hanging in. And as I always say, keep care of yourselves. Don't do the same. That is a wrap. Have a good sleep. Okay. You and me used to be together, always together. Someday, don't speak. Okay, shut up. It's just us. Okay. Annalese depression to be a product of the epileptic patterns in the brain. Annalese, of course, was much too intelligent not to realize that she was caught between two schools of thought. To Dr. Leonard, all her problems had a probable psychological source. For Dr. Schlepp, there was something wrong in her brain caused by who knows what. Maybe by that fall she took as a child. If those two individuals could not agree, maybe one or possibly both were wrong. At any rate, she did not mention the frozen, and that's ghastly faces, to the doctors. So she hasn't mentioned it. Um, So two physicians report that her brave wait, with her single-minded interest in brain wave patterns, had any access. Okay, wait. What did I miss here? Okay, so something wrong with me. So two doctors couldn't agree on one diagnosis, not to mention that she was still seeing frozen, ghastly faces. Both were wrong. At any rate, she did not mention the frozen to either of them. They belonged to a place to which neither Dr. Leonard, those belonged to a place which neither Dr. Leonard with his psychoanalysis nor Dr. Schlepp with her single-minded interest in brain wave patterns had any access. How tightly she clamped on her security screen is obvious from what those two physicians reported. Dr. Leonard, with all the details he recorded, was clearly left in the dark. Clearly left in the dark, as that important part of Annalese's was clearly left in the dark, and those experiences were left aside. Dr. Schlepp remarked in the same letter quoted, supernatural was involved. I am very much interested. Wait a minute. Since personally I'm very interested in such things, adding with proper caution and parenthesis, scientifically, of course. So even some of the doctors, even with all of the testings, really couldn't explain everything that Annalise was going through, which is kind of interesting. One sec. My mouth is dry. Okay. She became quite fond of him. He tolerated her moodiness and her depression, which came and went unaccountably. To please her, he had even started going to church again, for Sunday evening Mass. He sometimes took her to his rusty VW Bug up the hill overlooking the city. That would be beautiful. And the city's name is Capelle. Sounds like French, not German. Oh, sorry, Capelle. That delicate Racono church, all in pale line, pink, silver, and gray, which never failed to enchant Annalese. For the longest time, she would stand in front of the statue of Brother Conrad, the saint from Lower Bavaria, with his long beard. They say when he prayed, golden bubbles would issue from his mouth. Golden bubbles would issue from his mouth. That sounds like frog to me. They say, okay, I already read that. Okay, she mused, so she thought it was funny. And then they started talking about San Demanio again. Remember when she went to pray and she couldn't and all of that? Of the inner pressure, I always feel that hurrying, a fearful harassment that seems to be with me all the time. So these are her words, okay? They're in quotations here. Of that inner pressure, I always feel that hurrying, a fearful harassment that seems to be with me all the time. More she would not say, but toward the later part of December, she finally came out with it. It had been a happy day. It had been a happy day. Everything was fine with the kids, Advent, celebrations everywhere. The Ferdinandinum smelled of fresh fir greenery and burning beeswax candles, and the winter wind was playing tag with some sparse snowflakes outside. Annalise was humming at a Christmas tune about Mary and Joseph and their babe as Peter walked toward the kitchenette. Annalise looked up from the 10 egg she was filling. The 10 eggs she was filling were the deviled eggs. Other problems? What other problems? Those other problems, like the horrid stenches, for instance. It was the very first time Peter heard about the stenches and the torment they were causing her. Please explain, please, he said in an aching voice as they were going back to her room, carrying teapot and cups. Ursula, now that's right, Ursula and Karina are her good friends. So Ursula was not in, so they could talk at ease. And Elise told him how her family could also smell them. Not only she, but they came up suddenly, smelling like something was burning, like feces, rotten eggs, like dung, all manner of nasty, evil things, without any visible source of it. Couldn't you open a window? Oh, Peter, don't you think we tried? So that's a little recap from last week. I think that was a better read, but at any rate, so let's get down here. He felt that her condition might be improving after all, and he suggested that she pursue a strict religious way of life to ward off whatever was besetting her. And the doctors and the priests and the parents, Annalese, she stayed on that Trigadol, okay? And she did the prayers, and she just got worse and worse and worse. And Peter, they haven't even been intimate. I think she had what we would call today attachment issues. All right. So the next chapter is oh my gosh, this is her handwriting. Can you see that? That's amazing. Okay, so next chapter. We are making progress on this book because you know what? The views, and it doesn't even matter the views. It's the likes, dislikes, and the comments that really matter to me the absolute most. All right. Actually, you know what? Chapter 4 is 2 parts. So we're going to be picking up on page, because I read through all of this prior to. Okay, we're going to start on page 60, and we are about a quarter way through the book, so it's coming along. So I'm going to read the Palace Papers tomorrow because we know so much about royals, and that's what I was going to say. Hang on. All right. This is what commoners and royals have in common. There was a documentary. Okay, there's a method to my madness. Like we read Annalese Micheals, okay? I promised to read the Palace Papers, so I'll read 4 pages, and then I really want to find out what's going on with this because I have no idea. I miss my old channels, but you know what? It's okay. I can watch because they do royal commentary like nobody. I'm serious. They're phenomenal. Desperate Housewives recaps, TNT, Paula M, The Aftermath, like Obi Kenobi or something, Sean Atwood Unleashed, NT Lawyer, Kinsey Schofield, HG Tudor, the Behavioral Panel, the HD Podcast. Can I say something about Popcorn Planet? Do you remember when Andy met Johnny Depp and he expressed in such emotion, like how much this moment meant to him? It meant everything to him. And I could tell he was like this. He didn't want to share. He was turtling. He did want to share, but he didn't. And I thought, Andy, don't tell us about an experience that you can't share. You know, I met Johnny Depp. He was a great guy. Here's the footage. And don't sue Netflix because they use some of your footage. Like, everybody in the States can sue everybody. They try being in Canada. Go to change.org and find out why I started this channel. Oh, I wanted to show you a picture of when I was 35. Okay, so we were at Diana, never again, right? Oh, here we were. Okay, we're on page 9. You know what? I don't remember where we left off, but I'm sure it'll all come back to us real quick. And this is what I'm saying. Oh, so I was watching Tubi. Camilla said, I never wanted to go to this particular house. It was haunted. I didn't want to walk in there. I had a terrible feeling, but Charles got it fixed, and I could feel that the ghost was gone. So royals and commoners believe that. I also asked people, what does Molly Bloom who's a commoner, and Queen Elizabeth have in common? Well, first of all, they're both extraordinary women. Secondly, they zip it. They don't talk about people, and they're loyal. And, you know, it's like the Crucible. Did anybody see the Crucible with Daniel Day-Lewis? And it was written by Arthur Miller, who was married to Marilyn Monroe. I asked people, who wrote, the Crucible? Drop it in the comments. Nothing. But I'm still trying. I won't stop. So anyways, I don't remember what story I was on. Under a forthright exterior, Philip was as personally guarded as his wife, Queen Elizabeth. His childhood was so unstable, he had to grow layers of emotional fortifications simply to survive. His uncle, King Constantine I, was forced to abdicate the throne of Greece to his eldest son in 1922 in a military coup. His father, Prince Andrew, was arrested and court-martialed during the 1922 revolution and banished into exile in Paris. Philip was of no fixed address from the time he was an infant, bouncing around between England, France, and Germany. The Queen Mother found it less than endearing when considering his suitability to marry her daughter. That the bloodline of Danish ruling family of Greece was dominated by its unfortunate German strand. Philip's 4 elder sisters were all married were all married. Oh, this is going to be good. Wait a minute. Philip's sisters were all married to high-born German aristocrats who were Nazi sympathizers, and that's true. Because if you listen to Cherry Denise, who read The Traitor King, that's 100% true. 100% true. Wallace Simpson and David abdicated the throne. Thank you, Sarah. Which made for some awkward social moments. You think? That's why, may I interrupt here? So when you look at the history of Wallace Simpson, I'm just stopping here. If you look at, because, enough can be enough sometimes. When you look at, okay, so this is the aftermath. So look at all of that in which happened with Prince Philip's mother. I mean, she was banished from the palace just because she was eccentric, but you know that she helped people in the war hide. when there was genocide committed on a people, on peoples. God. And the monarchy, can you imagine the knowledge they have and the history and the diaries, and nothing can be released till somebody's 100 years old or something like that. It was Anthony Lowney who wrote The Traitor King? I believe so. Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so think of it. David, okay, if David had not abdicated the throne, he would have been king. And if he hadn't met Wallace Simpson, he would have married somebody. However, straight from uh, David's father, George the Fifth, I think it's the fifth, said, I swear to you, my son lied to my face. He said to me, I have not had inappropriates with Wallace. And he lied to my face. I swear to you, if your brother takes this throne, the monarchy will be ruined within 12 months. And that's the truth. So, if David hadn't abdicated the throne, her father never would have been king, but he was, and he was a damn good king. He died at 52, and then who became the heir but the spare? Elizabeth. And she is solid as a rock. She did her duty. She is an intelligible, beautiful woman that we miss. And I found a beautiful card, and it said, when you lose somebody, the reason you experience such grief is because you lost such a blessing. And I think that's why people are having difficulty or have had difficulty with King Charles. So then you look at all of those things. And then there were Nostradamus prediction, and I got this from watching Sean Atwood's channel and his guests. So this is where I got this information, but I'll have you know that I have read Nostradamus, but not the version that he has. I read the cryptic, try to figure it out. So apparently in Nostradamus, King Charles will abdicate the throne, and one son who is not ready to be king will become king, and I just hope it's not Harry. There's something really nefarious going on, and I said 6 months ago, the royal family is getting very strange. But also, because the queen became such a young queen, and Philip had diluted German whatever blood, and they are actually first cousins, just so you know. And what was Queen Elizabeth's job? What was her job? Think about it. She failed miserably as a mother, which surprises me because she did have a beautiful childhood with Margaret, her father, and the Queen Mother. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand it. But you know, when you go through a shock like that, and do you know that when Wallace Simpson died and David died, or David died first, and Wallace Simpson just died a lonely drinker. Very, very sad. But the Queen Mother would not recite Wallace Simpson's name, even at the funeral, because she blamed Wallace for seducing David and believed that being a kingmanship, killed her husband, which is Bertie, which is Elizabeth's father, and the Queen Mother's husband. So I don't understand, because they were the spares, they had a normal life. She becomes queen. Where did the love go that she had as a young woman? I got a heart in my heart. I gotta do my duty. I gotta keep this dynasty. Like the Wizard of Oz. That's what it was. And I feel bad for Charles's childhood. It's funny, you know what? That's where it all stems from, but it really is us to change it. And I talk about it because I'm trying to change. So, and then Harry, so think of all the racism and all the inbreeding. And there was a time when, there was a certain generation where they didn't want a royal to marry somebody who was half Indian. And I thought, oh, Meghan Markle would love to hear that. That was a different time, too. Everybody remembers this case? I am not explaining it. I am not. I just want to see what this is, Star Magazine. Oh, and Pamela Anderson. Why I stopped wearing makeup? Well, probably because she had it tattooed on, and she's had surgery and Botox. No, I don't think she has. She's absolutely gorgeous, and she was almost 60. Doesn't matter age. What's this? Then, now. Selena. Who's Selena? She's loving her curves. Selena has her health. It's much more important than being a skinny thing. Well, what's that? Isn't that a skinny thing right there, Selena Gomez? I need to catch up on these young stars. I need to get hip to the jig. Body positivity. But no, let's not have toxic positivity. Which reminds me, go to Mary Trump's YouTube channel if you're a Democrat, and Donald Trump's stations if you're a Donald Trumper. Okay, where's the story? Oh, leaving Scientology. Making a Night, Tom Cruise. Alex back on trial. Oh my gosh. There's too much to catch up on. All these Hollywood people, all this drama. No, but this Lacey Peterson case was really, really awful. Sorry, I'll show you the pictures. This is my editing. I can't believe Pee Wee Herman died. The last film I remember he was in was with Mosaic, with Sharon Stone on FX, I believe. Okay, what page is it, Lasha? I'll read Pam tomorrow. Slide it to the left. If it takes all night, just slide it to the right. And you can listen to this later. Oh my gosh. What's the freaking article? What page? Oh my God, I can't believe how dry my house is. Why is Katie Holmes and William with Tom Cruise? Are they trying to piss Meghan and Harry off? I bet they are. I bet they are. And I think that Harry wore that Nazi outfit because he's a smug little. He's facile. Meghan and Harry are facile. And if you don't know what facile means, go look it up in the dictionary, but I'll give you a hint. Shallow, without depth, not able to really connect, being phony, manipulative, no empathy but for oneself, and generally just insincere. Sound familiar? Harry and Meghan? He wore that Nazi outfit just to piss everybody off. Okay, here it is. I found it. So Scott Peterson is actually free. Okay. It was a case that gripped the nation on Christmas Eve in 2002. Lacey Peterson, then 27 years old and 8 months pregnant, went missing. 4 months later, her body and that of her unborn son, Connor, were found in San Francisco Bay. Her clean-cut husband, Scott Peterson, became the prime suspect after it was discovered he'd been having an extramarital affair. And in March 2005, he was found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder, sentenced to death. He was later resentenced to life in prison without parole. In the nearly 2 decades, I can't believe it's 2 decades since 2002. You know what? The early 2000s up to 2008 were the best times of my life, honestly. And then 2008 to 2016 were but I made them like that. And that's what children do. Meh, they make faces. Okay, so the Los Angeles, okay, so he was trying to get a chance to prove his innocence with the Los Angeles Innocence Project. For some reason, I thought Amanda Knox was a part of that. I'm sure the behavioral panel will do they'll do a thingy on it. They'll do a thingy on Scott Peterson released out of jail. He's been interviewed from everyone on NBC to, oh gosh, it doesn't matter. Okay, so the Innocence Project. Well, we all know that it's for people who were, potentially wrongfully convicted, right? So Mr. Peterson's. See, there's also a Scott. Aren't there 2 Scott Petersons? Remember the documentary, The Staircase? Was his name Scott too? Think, Lasha, think. Oh, it's bugging me. I have to ask Dr. Google. Just bear with me. The Staircase, the Netflix series. Who was the suspect who killed his wife? Michael Peterson. Okay, sorry. Michael and Scott, two different things. Okay, so he kept maintaining his innocence, and people who usually maintain their innocence and allow for DNA testing and everything are usually not lying. That's what Catherine Zellner said about Stephen Avery. That's another interesting brainstorm. Oh, I had another interesting brainstorm. It was Chinese New Year's yesterday, and I'm going to do a little dive and research in reference to Chinese New Year, and I want to find out who's a rat, a pig, a dragon, etc. I think it would be fun. My friend is sleeping next door. So let me find out what happened. Okay, so the Innocence Project was looking forward to court because they believed him and that they will triumph. The Cal, does that mean California? The Cal Polygrand was arrested in April 2003 and pleaded not guilty to murder charges during his trial. The former fertilizer salesman and his lawyers claim Lacey had been abducted and killed when she was out walking with the couple's dog on the morning of December the 24th. While Scott was on a solo fishing trip, prosecutors in the case argued that Scott has killed his wife, dumped her body with the baby, because afterwards he dyed his hair blonde and spent $15,000. Well, maybe he wanted to look different and get away from the media. But you don't know. You have to play a devil's advocate and, um, you know, devil's advocate and angel's advocate. Okay, so they go on about the murder that rocked the nation. I just want to find out why he was innocent. Okay, here's the theory. Just give me the theory. Okay, here it is. I'm just reading the pertinent parts because a lot of it just goes on and on and on, like I do when I stop and brainstorm other ideas while I'm in the middle of an apparent focused project. Okay, the Innocence Project will focus on the keys. The keys? Oh, that's the Stephen Avery case. The keys, really. Okie doke. The Innocence Project will focus on key pieces of evidence, including potential accounts from witnesses who may have seen Lacey after Scott left for his fishing excursion. Police reports from their investigation a December 2002 burglary near the Petersons' Modesto, California home, as well as a torched van discovered less than a mile from residence December the 25th, reportedly containing blood-stained mattress. That's interesting. Brian Spitulski. I'll spell it for you. Spitulski. Sounds Polish or Ukrainian, maybe. A former fire investigator with the Modesto Fire Department told ABC News The van was found the day after Lacey was reported missing. The Innocence Project has filed a motion to have the van tested for DNA. The testing conducted in 2019 on the cloth detected the presence of human DNA. Human DNA. The theory is that Lacey interrupted the burglary. The burglary. The burglary. You don't pronounce it burglary, Lasha. Jeez. December 4th, and was killed as a result. So she went in to help a friend that was being burgled. Well, didn't she have a really nosy neighbor? Or was that the Chris Watson case? I can't keep track of all of these reptiles that are starting to, stop hiding in plain sight, and they're just terrible stories going on. Okay, so Scott is confident he'll be exonerated because why? The source says local police and the prosecutors who worked on the case aren't thrilled about the new investigation. But what is it? Something about 20 feet away. The theory is that Lacey interrupted the burglary. So what's next? Yeah, publishers are drooling. Oh, I thought he was free. Well, what do I know? And I took off the mask and the world opened up. I'm going to read this tomorrow about Pamela Anderson. She's almost 60 and she's still hot as a spicy meatball. Okay. It's a wrap. And take care of yourselves. I'll do the same. That was a very long video, and I did follow through on everything I said, but it's late. Okay. God bless you. I'll see you soon. Okay. Bye. Thanks, everybody. And I'd love to hear what anybody has to say. Please. I'm just kidding. Okay. Bye.